Hello, welcome to the Business Growth Club podcast and YouTube channel. I'm here today with a very special guest because it's not just anyone, but it's actually the singer of the jingle for the podcast. So if you've heard the song, then you're going to be able to hear who actually sung it, wrote it, and provided it, and it is amazing and I absolutely love it. I find myself singing it all day when I hear it. So we have the lovely Carol. Carol, would you like to tell everybody who you are and what you do?
Hi, Dani. Wow, what an introduction. Morning, everybody. My name is Carol Barwick, and I run Raising Confidence, Inspiring Creativity. And as Dani said, one of the things that I do is I write jingles. So even when my son asked me who I was doing interview with this morning, I sang Dani Lewis, your business queen, because that's just how it happens in my head now. I can no longer just say your voice.
I love that. I found myself walking around the house going, Dani Lewis, and I'm just like stuck. It's in my head, and that's what I'm so glad about, because when I envisioned creating the song or the jingle for this, I wanted that. I wanted to stick in people's head.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that you've helped me do that. So I'd actually love to talk about a couple of things with you today. So Carol is all about, she does quite a few things that are really creative, all about raising confidence, and we'll touch upon those. But the first thing I'd like to ask you is where that actually came about. What brought you into singing and raising confidence? Where did that come from?
Okay, so I'll try not to ramble too much, because everything that I talk about is always a story, and there's always a kind of story behind everything.
We love stories.
Yeah, this is a long one. In a nutshell, when I was little, my mum had severe depression. When I was 9, she went into a psychiatric unit for a year, and she was highly creative, and so was my dad. And so one of the ways that I found to kind of cope with the fact she was away was to sing. So she always used to sing, and so I used to sing naturally anyway. But I think first of all I started writing little poems, little verses, and then I realized that I could put them to music, and that would make me remember them quicker and easier. So I've always enjoyed doing that kind of creative side of things, and kind of being in a creative family has only kind of fostered that, really, and made it kind of so much more. And then through the years, I've just found that any challenges and things that I've found difficult, using creativity has helped me through it. Because when struggles and challenges happen, you don't get to just kind of fly over them, and you often can't crawl under them. You do have to go through them, and I find that creativity really helps me to do that. It's almost like it often forges a path through things for me. So yeah, that's kind of where it all started from a very early age. But that realization, I think I was quite young to realize that actually a poem, when put to music, could create a song, and a song would get other people involved, and I could share it and things like that. So that's the short answer.
You definitely do share it as well, and what you share is just this amazing energy when you do sing, and what you've created for businesses like mine, who I guess you give us a way to feel confident in ourselves, because that's how I felt when you created this song that sang about me. And every time I hear it, like from my heart, I feel so, it raises me up, which is what I know is what you're all about.
Absolutely. And
you give that to people, and it's just amazing. There's just no words. It really is. So I'd love to talk about the two things that we're here to talk about, basically creativity and confidence. And why do you think that both of those are really important, especially like my audience is women in business? Why do you think they are so important in business, and actually why confidence was the thing that you decided to work on?
So I think it's interesting. I was doing a jingle for someone else the other day, and I was determined to use his name. And I thought, well, actually, it might be that if I don't use his name, if I don't literally kind of blow a trumpet for him, he's not going to do it for himself.
Oh wow,
And he's a voiceover artist. So I think when it comes to women in business, there's so many of us that are just like, oh no, people aren't going to want to know about me. So I'll maybe I'll advertise how good the service is for a week, but then people will be bored of my voice, so I won't do it anymore. So what I do is I enable people to blow their own trumpets, but I kind of do it for them. So if you're not able to say how great you are, then I'll flip and do it for you. But I'll do it in a way that will get stuck in your head. And as you said, you will be going around the house singing about it, feeling great. And I mean, I bet you don't realize how often you're singing your name. It just gets stuck in your head, doesn't it?
It's like having your own personal song, like almost it's like a therapeutic like affirmation, like because it raises your faith. I keep saying the words that you use, but it raises your faith in yourself, your confidence, and all of that. And it's just beautiful, really.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that is so important to me. And the thing about confidence, actually, when the business started off, it was more kind of raising self-esteem, but I think self-esteem and confidence go hand in hand. So the more you understand who you are, the more able you are to just shine brightly, often without trying. I think that's often what confidence is. It's about being completely you without even trying. You don't have to say to people, I am Dani Louise, you just are, and people know. And I think that's why confidence is so important, and particularly for us as business women, and many as business mums as well, we've learned along the way these messages and strategies that we're now wanting to share with other people, and if we're not going to share them, who will? So in having that confidence, it means that message gets shared. So it's about believing in what we're saying, and then saying it, which actually sounds really simple, but that saying it bit is often the hardest bit, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, I've felt that throughout the whole of my journey. In fact, I am actually part of a book that's coming out very soon, where we've actually wrote a chapter on unlocking our voice as women, because sometimes we just feel unheard, and that does affect our confidence, and sometimes maybe our creativity as well, because like sometimes you can be told that you're too much. Like I feel when I'm being my true self, I think I do hold myself back because I feel like I probably am too much. Like I went to Zumba on Monday and I was wearing bright pink leggings, obviously my bright pink hair, and I think it was orange or yellow top, and I walked in feeling amazing. The colour helped me feel really good and confident. And the Zumba teacher was like, "You're very colourful today." And I look around the room and everyone else is in like browns and like deeper, darker colours.
Yeah.
And I stick out like a sore thumb, but I loved it because I just felt myself. And I think it's so important we feel that confidence in what we do creatively as well.
Yeah.
So let's pick a little bit about you, Carol, because you do a couple of things that I'd love for people to hear about. One is the choir, which is obviously the singing side, singing again within your business, and the jingles. So tell us a little bit about both of those. So what do you do for people in both of those aspects in terms of your business?
Yeah, so basically the business has changed a lot, as it has for a lot of people over the last 3 years. So before COVID, I ran 3 choirs. I had something called Raise and Shine story time sessions. So you were saying about kind of the songs having messages and getting stuck in your head. So when I had my little boy, my mum died in the same year, and so I was definitely found that really difficult. So I wrote little songs to help him get ready in the morning, and potty training and that kind of thing. And I used the songs in story sessions. So I used to do that, and everything was face to face. And then obviously, as with everybody, COVID brought a lockdown and that kind of thing. But it also brought to me COVID 3 times over, and then long COVID. And what that's meant is that I've now got this chronic illness, and the business has had to completely change. Hence why I'm doing the jingles, because it's more online. So the reason I'm giving you that backstory is I now only have one choir. And that choir it's just absolutely a labor of love, because it's hard to do it every single week. And my choir are absolutely incredible, and they totally understand that I'm not well. And I totally get that in a professional setting, you wouldn't always kind of tell your members that you're not well, but our choir is a family. We're absolutely a family, and there's no way that I could not just take them on that journey with me. And because we're a family, it means that we get through. We did our first performance in July, and it wasn't just a lovely choir performance, it was a massive achievement for all of us. And since we started back just a year ago in September, we've had new people, which again is an achievement, because the choir had completely disappeared pretty much. I had an amazing couple of ladies from the choir that really tried to keep it going, but everybody kept getting COVID. So it was really difficult to actually keep it going. So it was like we started from scratch. But we still have original members that come, people that have come for like 7 or 8 years. We're going to be 10 years old next year.
Wow.
And it's that choir that's been like the hub of everything, and as I said, a real labor of love. So that's the only face-to-face thing that I manage now. But then the jingles is my chance to say, look, I might be really poorly, I'm really different, but I want to do everything that I can still. You know, I've not stopped being Carol. And I got some money from Access to Work, which meant I could have someone to work with. And she does the nitty gritty side of the jingles, because I find that really difficult. If I had to sit and learn how to do the production side of things, I would be too tired to actually do the creative side of it. So between us, we do these jingles, and I just love it, Dani. It's given me purpose for living. When I mean, you totally understand about the kind of chronic illness side of it, and when that happens as a new thing, it's difficult to know quite what your purpose in life is, because you start thinking, well, if I'm going to be ill every day, really, like, you know, I did get to a few dark times of what is the point. And the jingles give me purpose. They give me reason to get up. They are stuck in my head. Sometimes I can't go to sleep because I've got everybody's jingles going around in my head, and I love it.
I love that. I mean, living your life by music. I can't think of anything better.
Yeah.
And I think it's amazing what you've done and seeing your journey, because me and Carol actually met through networking.
Yeah.
And it was just right out of lockdown, actually, wasn't it? Or maybe we're still in. I can't quite remember, but I know that you did find it a challenge. And then seeing that you've actually come out of that and create so many beautiful things for people and for yourself, and just it creates a ripple effect. And I've actually heard feedback from a friend about your choir, and seeing that friend go to your choir and now sing all of the time with judgment of herself. I literally watched her storming around a field this weekend with her earphones in, singing the Robbie Williams songs that I love my life, and she got that song in my head, and I love that song. So listening to her sing then made me feel good, and it really does spread a positive vibe, I guess. But that's just one thing. And then you also have your own podcast, don't you, as well?
Yeah, I do. So the idea of the Raise podcast is, again, it's really simple, and it kicked off with a Facebook community group. So it was actually, I think, one of the main things was a conversation with my dad, where we were talking about loneliness, and, you know, and the different raised people that I've met over the years through the storytime sessions, through the choirs, all these different things, and what would happen if we got them all physically in one place. And obviously COVID then happened, and so I thought, right, well, let's get them all virtually in one place then and see what happens. And I've always loved words. Obviously I'm a lyricist, so you've got to love words, haven't you?
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm going to concentrate on one word, just one word every week, and find out what other people think about it. And I'm by no means a coach or a counselor, but I very much believe in, I think it's called like clean thinking, where you don't tell other people what to think. So you don't say, right, the word this week is hope, and it means. You say, the word this week is hope, what does it mean to you? So that's kind of where I started off. And I again, as it was through lockdown, I was thinking about these words, and I was thinking, oh, wouldn't it be fun, like if we were going to do the word restoration, to have like a furniture restorer who talked about restoration? That would be really interesting. How would that work? And then brilliant Anna McManus Hughes and I have been working together. She's my business coach, and we've been working together for years. And she put me in touch with another Anna. There are a lot of Annas in the business world. Anna Park in Naples, who is the podcast queen. So not the business queen, don't worry. And she was launching a challenge to start thinking about creating a podcast. And I actually ended up doing that challenge 3 times in the next year and a half. And one of the things that was a deal breaker for me was it had to have some creativity in it. I love Alex Horn, who is often on things like Cats Do Countdown and that kind of thing, and he does a lot of improvisation, but musically. So him and his band write songs about ridiculous things like Chinese 5 Spice and things like that. And I wanted to do something like that, and so the idea kind of developed, and I thought, right, well, what I want is a guest to talk about one word that's interesting to me, and we'll kind of unpack it. And then as that kind of evolved and the group started, I mean, when I say Facebook community group, it's a proper community. So first of all, I really know the people in there. I probably know face to face about 60% of them. But it's, we all really properly engage and talk to each other, which I absolutely love. So it's not a stagnant group at all. It's a real, it's like you're walking into a face-to-face group of people. And we just explore these words that other people just think of as throwaway. So I think this week our word is, what's our word this week? Can't remember. Try. Try is our word this week. You don't really think about it, do you? But actually, how powerful is the word try?
It really is. Like, for me, instantly, I think if I'm ever feeling like I can't do something, the word try can kind of give me that boost to go for it.
Yeah.
And that words do have power. They really do.
Absolutely. And then I've got a 7-year-old podcast guest who talks about the word try, and oh my goodness, she's completely inspirational. And so I talk to all kinds of different people on the podcast, and it's a simple listen. And then at the end, I write an on-the-spot poem for every guest, and that's completely off the cuff. And that's what brings the creative element into it. And
Should we put you on the spot right now and see if you can do one right now?
I wondered if you were going to do that. You have to give me a subject. I will, but you'll have to give me a subject. Organisation. I put the word organisational into your jingle, Dani Louise Smith, and that was hard enough. Organisation.
Should we change the word? Should we go with the theme of this? Should we go with confidence?
No, organisations. Confidence is hard to rhyme. No, I'll do organisation. Just give me a sec. Okay. If you want to amaze the nation, you'll need a bit of organisation, spreadsheets, accountancy, administration. That's the way to amaze the nation.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to be long.
I love it. And when you said spreadsheets, I'm like, She knows me well. Yeah, bloods. Oh, I love that. Thank you. I would love to ask as well, what would be your best advice for anyone who wants to raise themselves in terms of their self-esteem, their confidence, their self-worth, any of that stuff that we all should be working on because we deserve to feel amazing and okay with who we are? What would be your best advice around that?
Listen to the people that know you well. Listen to what they're saying to you. Think about what you would say to someone else if they asked you, am I good enough to do this, that kind of thing, because our voices always tell us the negative, critical side of it, but we wouldn't say that to somebody else. So when you're kind of feeling low, go to someone that you really trust and say, is this a bad idea, or is it my kind of inner critic, my limiting belief kind of getting in the way? And also just remember that the world needs you. We're all completely unique and different, and you're needed in the world to do something, and you might know what it is, you might not know yet, but you were created to do that thing. So we need you. We need you to do it.
I love that, and I truly believe that as well. And the question that I ask all my guests that come on here, what would be your top tip for being organised within your business?
But I'm not.
You're not. Oh no.
I saw a meme the other day, and it basically said, all these papers aren't mess, they're all ideas. And this is my problem as a creative, is my ideas are everywhere, like they're flowing out of the house kind of thing. So my best tip for organizing yourself creatively is any idea has got mileage, so write everything down.
Oh yes.
Even if you think that it's rubbish, you just don't know when you might need it. So just create a file quickly, bung the idea in there, or put it straight into a journal or a notebook, and just bank it, because ideas are precious, and they're potentially just passive income all over the place. So I'm that's not a very tidy organizational thing, but I would be a complete hypocrite if I said have a beautifully tidy office, because we're not going to look behind us.
You should see mine. It's actually on my to-do list to tidy mine today. It's horrendous.
Yeah.
I'm tidying the business, I'm organising the business, but like I always say, my life, it's maybe not so much, but I am working on
that. That's the creative mind, Dani. It's the way it is.
It really is, isn't it? Thank you so much for joining us today, Carol. Before we go, I'd love to hear where we can come and find you. If we want a jingle, of course, if we want to hear what you're up to and the projects that you're working on, where do we come and find you and get you on?
Yeah, so the community group is called Raising Confidence, Inspiring Creativity, and that is just on Facebook, and that's for anybody that wants to join, and you can kind of DM me about the jingles from there, and I'm also on Instagram at _raising confidence, so you can come and find me on there as well. Those are the two main platforms.
Amazing, thank you so much. And then we'll head into the outro, where you'll get to hear Carol's lovely voice singing the Queen of Business Organisation jingle.